All right. There's a theme here. There's a theme in my podcast episodes. If you follow along, a lot of what I am teaching on in the moment is what I am currently experiencing in my life or what I have just worked through. Typically, it's what I have just worked through, and then I am sharing with you what works. And this was something that I really wanted to share with you because it is something that I realized I struggled with. I realized quickly that, okay, for those of you who have been following my journey, let's start here. This feels better. In January 2024, this year, it suddenly hit me. I don't know why, but suddenly like this whole boundaries thing and how to like make it work in my home and consequences for the kids. I feel like that was something I struggled with for so many years because a lot of the time I would come up with these consequences that really didn't like fit the crime, right? For lack of a better word. And so I bought into a little parenting course. It was actually all about mom life. And for those of you who know, that is something that I really teach on. And that was something that I really recognized I wanted to shift this year was how I was showing up as a mom, how I was showing up in my home. Because one of my biggest goals, like throughout my entire childhood, was I didn't want to be like my mom. And I love you, mom, but I wanted to do things differently. And I had to recognize, like, first of all, my mom did the best she could with what she knew. And the same for like my dad and my stepdad. Like they were doing the best they could with the knowledge they had. And the examples that they had growing up, what behaviors were modeled to them. And so I chose from a very young age. Like I remember thinking these things around the age of 7, like I will do things differently. And I have created a lot of that. And I also still recognize like some of the places that I'm like, oh, I want to do it a little bit better in this area. Like, how can I show it better as myself in this area? And how can I show it better as a mom in this area? And whatever that is. And so here's my latest shift for you because I have a really tricky 10-year-old boy who has a lot of big emotions, who really values relationships. And he also has a lot of like FOMO, like fear of missing out, and afraid that he's going to upset somebody. And so he's been in therapy for a little bit, and she is phenomenal. But we've also been doing things differently as parents to better help him continue to move forward. Because essentially what we want as parents, right, is to send our kids out into the world well adjusted, being able to like set boundaries, make friends, and really create a life that is good for them, takes care of them. Like, I don't know what word I was looking for there, but like something that really supports them, creating a life where they feel really supported, creating a life that's healthier than what we grew up in. It's not going to be perfect, and I understand that, but let's talk a little bit about doing everything for our kids. The energy that I had recognized I had cultivated in my home was this one of I took care of everything. And not that I picked everything up, not that I took care of my kids' dirty clothes, like they did that, but the way that I was showing up in those moments and being like, hey, did you take care of your dirty clothes? Hey, did you do this? Hey, did you do this? That's still putting the mental load on my shoulders. That's still putting the mental load in my brain. And I had a shift in this course where she said, how can we teach our kids to look around and learn what the mental load is and start to do it because they see that it's out of place. And so for me, this sounds crazy for a lot of people, which blows my mind, but like, I don't do dishes in the sink. I don't do things sitting on my kitchen counters. I like a very minimal, very just like clean house. Not minimal like Marie Kondo style, but like you will not see clutter on my counters ever. It drives me crazy, can't even handle it. I cannot go to bed with dishes in the sink. It's not my vibe. And so instead, at night, this is how it used to be before we created like our boundaries and stuff that we've now put into place. I'd be like, okay, well, you guys need to help clean up dinner. So like, make sure you take care of your plates. That's always been a thing in our house. Make sure you take care of your plates and then let's clean up dinner. Or the kids would take care of their dishes and walk away. And me and my husband were left cleaning up dinner. And so now shifting the way that I show up and I'm like, okay, everybody, let's look around. What needs to be done? What's out of place? What needs to be put away? and just kind of shifting that for them, because this puts their brain on an entirely different track, right? Instead of, oh, well, mom always takes care of it, or mom will tell me what to do if she needs something done, to how can I look for something that needs to be done? How can I notice things that are out of place? And so it really starts to shift their brain. And so getting this mental load off of your, I shouldn't say off your chest, I should say out of your brain. Getting the mental load out of your brain really consists of us teaching our kids to do things a different way. And this means ending doing everything for our kids too. And so sure, we can help them pick up toys, right? We can be like, yeah, hey, let's go pick up the toys. Like, you pick up those ones, I'll help you over here and I'll pick up these ones. That's great. But also, like, my kids like to come in the door and just drop their backpacks right next to the door. And it drives me crazy. And so instead of me saying, because this is how I used to say it, hey, please go put your backpacks in your room behind the door where they go. Now I say, hey, backpacks don't belong there. Where do you think would be a really good place to put those where you can find it in the morning when it's time to go? And just really, it starts to shift their entire view on everything. It starts to get them to look for more ways of being solution finders, not mom will tell me what to do, mom will tell me where it goes. Do you see how much better the energy of all of this feels? Let's all find solutions. Let's find solutions to our problems. Let's raise kids who find solutions to their problems instead of mom always telling them what to do. And so this is really like the culture that I want to help you create in your home. And if you're not an empowered mom, I don't know what you're doing, but it has already started. The doors are closed right now, but it will open up again. So just reach out to me. But we want to start to teach our kids how to be self-reliant, how to be independent, and that it's also good to like come together and do things together and hang out together. But we cannot keep doing every single freaking thing for our kids because that's exhausting. That is draining. And I am just not here for that vibe. And so this is where the boundaries came into place. And I can drop the link to, I do have a boundary guide for you that you can go into Canva and create. But my kids have like a little chore list and I've created it in squares. So they have a magnet. So it sits on the fridge and they have a little magnet. So every time they get a chore done, like make your bed, clean your room, brush your teeth, put your dirties in the basket, load your dishes into the dishwasher, wipe the counters, whatever it is, right? There's a square for it. And they put a magnet on each square. And then when they get home from school, there's different squares for after school. And then in the evening, there's different squares, right? Like put pajamas on, clothes to the dirties, teeth are brushed, room picked up, house picked up, like whatever it is. But that way, there's a consequence to it. So if they don't get everything done, and they say they get everything done, like there's a consequence. And they hate the consequence. The consequence is that they don't get to play with the neighbors. They play with the neighbors almost every single day, which I am so grateful for because they love it. But it's just really starting to teach your kids there are things that need to be done. And also allowing yourself the space to know that like there are things that don't have to fall on your shoulders all the time. And if we don't get some of that mental load right, so if we don't get some of these chores or tasks or whatever out onto a paper or a chore chart or a sheet or whatever, then you're still carrying it. You're still asking your kids, you're still reminding them, hey, go brush your teeth. Hey, let's go get our pajamas on. Instead, you can say, hey, let's get our nighttime routine done and then we can do X. We can read a book. Let's get our nighttime routine done and then we'll do talk time. And let's get our nighttime routine done. And so you don't have to list off all the chores for them. They have a chart to walk over to and to do. And so it's like out of your mind, you get to take a deep breath. You can like plop down on the couch or wherever it is, and you have like 10 or 15 minutes to yourself. This is how we create more space in our lives as moms. This is how we create a life that feels really good when we're not constantly nagging our kids. Nobody wants to be nagged. Our kids are human too. And I think that that's something that I see like a lot of people, a lot of even me in the past forget. I used to raise my kids in well, I'm the mom, that's why. Or, well, you do this because I ask you to. And kids are valid in asking why. And so when we get mad at them as moms, basically we're just telling them like, you are not safe to be curious. You are not safe to come to me with these big emotions, or I'm going to freak out on you or tell you what's wrong or bad or whatever. And I've had to shift a lot. And even now I have 2 teenage daughters and then I have 2 younger kids who are 10 and 8. So 16, 13, 10 and 8, right? And we're starting to shift. And I'm realizing how I have been showing up in a way that I haven't wanted to show up. And so I shifted it and I changed it. And I want you to know that at any point in time, you can shift and change what you desire to also. It does not have to stay the same. You are not too late. You are not broken. There is nothing wrong with you. And if you feel like your kids hate you, all of us parents do from time to time, it is normal and it is okay. And so this is just something that really helps me recognize that, like, I don't have to do everything for my kids. It's actually really healthy for my kids to learn to do things for themselves without needing all of the reminders, without me needing to carry that list in my mind. They have it as a visual, they have it in their own minds, and they can start to look around and be a little bit more proactive kids versus, oh, mom will just tell me what to do. And this is exactly what I want for you. So, there is that. Let me know if you have any questions. Please reach out. If you are interested, I know Empowered Mom isn't open right now, but I do have a membership. It's called the Mom Life Mastery Collective. And this is where we do 2 breathwork workshops a month, all around showing up as the mom that you desire to be, and a group life coaching call where you can come in and get personalized help to your own experiences, maybe help get some perspective shifts or some help with the way that you were raising your kids, whatever it is. Like, I am so happy to just give you ideas and what has worked for me, because that's what I can share. This has been my experience. I've had a lot of life with these children, and I've had a lot of growth with myself, and I know what works. I know what is sustainable as a mom. And so please reach out, send me a DM at Amanda Clark Coaching, and I am so happy to help you. It is only $29 a month, which is absolutely incredible. The price will be going up next month, but I just wanted to share that with you. If you want to be grandfathered in at the price that it is currently at, it is taking a slightly bigger jump to a new price point. And I would love to have you in there so that you can come and get some support that you need every single month and twice a month for the breathwork sessions. And I'll talk to you next time.